Alright, well, this is a first, but it might be the last. This is just a video to suggest that possibly Vampire Weekend are the greatest band of our generation. Vampire Weekend, if you're not sure, are from New York City, and they all met while attending Ivy League University. They have a trilogy of 3 albums. Well, not exactly a trilogy, but they have a great threesome. The first album that came out in 2007 is self-titled, and the closing song, the lyrics now on the closing track on that first paragraph, first stanza: a devastating backstroke all the way from France, with shiny cufflinks, a shirt sleeve to enhance. A devastating backstroke all the way from France. It's amazing. But when you hear it, they're so smart. You can mishear that. So many people think it says, the devil's doing backstroke all the way to France. And you can play games with the lyrics and just do it yourself. Also on that album is an Oxford comma, which plays around with production, lyrics. It's Afrobeat, and that's the thing about this first installment on this so-called trilogy, is it's beautiful. Kind of, you can hear in the background, wouldn't say lo-fi, but it's like real instruments, and they definitely sing a lot about student life and being on campus, things like that. They even have a song, I think, called Campus on that. Yeah, the 6th track is called Campus. And a lot of people, a lot of detractors would criticize them for being too smart, too clever, too up their own asses, but for me, that doesn't wash. The whole point of, pomp is the circumstance in that. Why not flaunt it? Why not go all out? You only live once. The second album in that trilogy is Contra. The second one, after the self-titled. And I believe this came out in 2011. I could be wrong. It could have been 2010. I'll check my facts out. And so when that came out, it's 2010. When Contra came out, it was just an overhaul of just production, a bit of electronic things going on in the mix. People even criticized the singer and his voice, Ezra Koenig, by saying auto-tune was used too much on the track, especially California English and White Sky. But again, it just mixes all these different elements. And of course people would say, oh, it's a hipster's band, but as a hipster would defend them, they'd say, oh, it's meta is a good thing. They reference themselves, they reference so many things, and it's never quite clear who the Contra is, who the liar is. And the closing track, I think, You're a Contra. Giving Up the Gun is one of the best music videos ever, or tracks ever. The first track on that album, Hot Chatter, is amazing too. The beats, the drums, it's just phenomenal. So to sum up, it was another short album, maybe 35 odd minutes in length, and the comeback was going from that Afrobeat, pure instrumental sound, to using production and, again, making you feel like you're on campus, you're a student, and the days are everlasting. Especially the song White Sky that I mentioned before. They sing a lot about New York City and ordering food, things like that. The aforementioned lyric that I was talking about in White Sky A little stairway, a little piece of carpet, a pair of mirrors that are facing one another. Out in both directions, 1,000 little Julias that come together in the middle of Manhattan. All those fragments, and it all comes together in the middle of Manhattan. Nonsense of postmodern life just makes sense to me. The singer, the character, the speaker, all of a sudden, and it works now on so many levels. Again, the previous lyric I mentioned about food was in California English. Sweet carob rice cake, she don't care how the sweets taste. Fake Philly cheesesteak, but she use real toothpaste. I love it, you know, 'cause if that Toms don't work, if it just makes you worse, would you lose all you faith in the good earth? It just written with that patois kind of, you know, French patois speaking tone, speaker's tone. It's just, the characters in the songs are just amazing, nigh on amazing. And that is the second installment in those 3 albums I was talking about. And then you have a comeback again, which 2013, 3 years later, which just took them to this anthemic kind of Modern Vampires of the City was the title, and this anthemic stature of just hairs on the back of the neck. Not just a smart aleck band, but a band that absolutely are vital for our times. Like songs like the current one playing, like Ya Hey, perhaps the opener, Obvious Bicycles, Everlasting Arms. Like there are so many on this album, and a lot of this is about time and place. I mentioned before that Vampire Weekend are absolutely about where you were when you were listening to them and how you were feeling. So the first album that came out in 2007, I was finishing university. I was in a house with a bunch of guys who used to cook a lot and playing that, drinking pots of tea, listening to that album, hearing the potential in a band, you know. Second album that came out, Contra, trying to rediscover my university days. It was 2010. I'd finished, you know, traveling a little bit in Iceland and Hungary and Miami, and just feeling that as layers, becoming a man of, and trying to use your intellect, your wisdom from college, and kind of failing. But I just walked down the street with it playing and smirking, you know, putting my hood up, and it's just that kind of music. And this third one, I had a job teaching kindergarten, and we did a winter performance, and as we're in this huge auditorium, on campus at a university, between the kids performing, this album would be playing, like in the intermission, and so-called intermission, and it just made me feel really festive, and the anthems were great. And it's great because I think in the last few weeks, the singer of Vampire Weekend, Ezra Koenig has said that something's coming soon, like they're working on new shit, and I can't wait for it. They are up there with some of the greats now, and that is a great thing. The amount of times I've said the word great and probably nodded my head while making points in this video is embarrassing, and I don't really always like doing this. It's been a while. But again, New Year's Eve recently, I was with one of my best friends from high school, who I've known, so become a man. The man. We were just listening to them and talking about how those memories of being at university, of being a student, of being smart, being arrogant, not understanding all the references that they sing, some nonsense in there, you know, it all makes sense, it all adds up. I'll do a final lyric for this, which has to be from Step, which is arguably the most beautiful song that they've ever recorded. Just pulling up the lyrics as I do this. the chorus in that one, you know, the gloves are off, the wisdom teeth are out. What you on about? I feel it in my bones, I feel it in my bones. I'm stronger now, I'm ready for the house. Such a modest mouse. I can't do it alone, I can't do it alone. Every time I see you in the world, you always step to my girl. And that couplet at the end is borrowed from a hip-hop song. So this idea of sampling, and I say it again, postmodernism, postmodernism, whatever it is there for you in a nutshell, my friend. So if you're not on board or you're a cynic, please comment, let me know what you think of Vampire Weekend, but my case is out there, and a lot of it's very subjective. Where were you when you were listening to your favorite band? Is there any band that sums up, you know, adolescence, getting into adulthood, or am I just talking a load of baloney? From Germany, tschüss tschüss and Happy New Year.